In the name of Allah, the most compassionate, the most merciful, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon His last and beloved Messenger Muhammad, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all. The title of this episode is Diagnosis and Cure for the Problem of Addiction from the Guidance of the Quran. Now, I will concentrate in this episode on addiction to drugs, alcohol, and gambling. Now, this problem is a universal problem, and it's a worldwide problem. And so many people, millions of people, they suffer from addiction to drugs, alcohol, and gambling. Now, this problem has symptoms. Now, the symptoms can be summarized as follows: that gambling to alcohol, drugs, and gambling, it causes waste of money, time, and effort in the first instance, that Allah God Almighty gave people that their precious lifetime to be utilized in calling people to the path of Allah God Almighty, doing good, and utilizing this time in acts pleasing to Allah God Almighty. But when a person is addicted to drugs, alcohol, and gambling, he wastes this time, his energy, his youth, he wastes everything for this addiction. Now, the second problem of addiction is that it causes damage to the human health. It damages your body. For example, alcohol, it causes considerable damage to the circulatory system, the heart and the blood vessels, and it causes damage to the liver. And drugs, for example, they cause damage to the central nervous system and can cause cell death, neural cell death. So this is another kind of symptom of this problem. The third symptom is that it causes people to commit harm, to hurt themselves and others. Because when a person is so much in debt due to addiction, then he might commit suicide. He thinks it as an easy way out. He could kill people, steal from people to satisfy his addiction. So I think, brothers and sisters, you sense the magnitude and scope of this problem. Now, the knowledge of people till this day, it fails to find the diagnosis for this problem. What causes a person to be an addict? They failed, and they failed also to find a cure. How to cure this problem. Now, in this episode, I will show the superiority of the Noble Quran, how the knowledge of Allah Almighty in the Quran gives us the cause, teaches us the cause for this addiction, and how to cure it in a matter of minutes. And you can see the superiority of the knowledge of Allah Almighty in the Quran. Now, Allah Almighty gives us and teaches us the cause for addiction, the only cause why a person becomes an addict, where by pondering upon verse number 90 of chapter 5 of the Quran, which states, "O you who believe, intoxicants, all kinds of alcoholic drinks, gambling, and al-ansabu and al-islamu are an abomination of Satan's handiwork. So avoid that in order that you may be successful." So Allah Almighty teaches us here that alcohol, the addiction to alcohol, to drugs, to gambling, all of these acts are the handiwork of Satan. All of these acts, they are the doing of Satan. Satan, so Allah Almighty teaches us here that Satan, the devil, he causes people to be addicted to drugs, alcohol, and gambling. So Allah Almighty in seconds gives us the cause of addiction. Now, having said that, in order to understand how does Satan cause people to be addicted to drugs, alcohol, and gambling, we need to understand how does Satan affect us. And the only book on the face of the earth which explains in perfect details how does Satan affect us is the last revelation to mankind, the Quran. Such that Allah in the Quran teaches us the cure, teaches us how does Satan affect us in very kind of beautiful and perfect way. And it's as follows: we can learn from the Quran that each and every one of us has a voice of oneself. So we can learn from the Quran that each and every one of us has a voice, so that the voice that you speak with is the same voice you hear in your head when you are thinking quietly to yourself. And that's normal as the voice of oneself. So, again, we can learn from the Quran that each and every one of us has a voice of oneself, and that's the voice you speak with, and the same voice you hear in your head when you are thinking quietly to yourself. And that's normal. We can also learn from the Quran that each and every one of us has a companion devil. That is a devil assigned to you at birth and stays with you till death. So we can learn from the Quran that each and every one of us, when he's born, there is a devil assigned to him and stays with him till death. He's a companion for you in your earthly journey. And also Allah teaches us, how does this companion devil affect each and every one of us? No one is immune from this. Each and every human has a companion devil assigned to him. So we can learn how does this companion devil, how does Satan affects us in verse 64 of chapter 17 of the Quran, which states, "And befool them gradually those whom you can among them with your voice." So this is part of the verse where Allah states here that this companion devil, he befools you, he tricks you gradually with his voice. Meaning that this companion devil, he talks to you, he engages you in conversation like a person talking to you. And he tries to trick you and befool you with the thoughts contained in his voice. So he talks to you. That's the way he affects you, that he talks to you. And he tries to trick you with the thoughts contained in his voice. Now, somebody might ask that I only hear the voice of myself. So where is this voice of my companion devil? Allah God Almighty gives us the answer in the Quran, chapter 114, verse 4, which states, "From the evil of the whisperer who hides." From the evil of the whisperer who hides. So the Almighty teaches us here that this companion devil, he talks to us, but at the same time he hides from us, meaning that he camouflages himself. He doesn't want you to feel his presence. Now, and the only way that this creature can talk to you at the same time doesn't make you feel his presence, the only way he can accomplish this is if he matches his voice with your own voice. So what your companion devil does is he matches his voice, he makes his voice identical with regards to tone, frequency, the languages you know Arabic, he will talk to you in Arabic, you know English, he will talk to you in English, you know Japanese, he will talk to you in Japanese. So he makes his voice identical to the one you think with. And he puts ideas in your mind, he talks to you with a voice matching the one you think with. So thoughts pop up in your mind. You hear a thought in your mind and you think that yourself is telling you this, while actually your companion devil. So the scientific way on how Satan affects you is that he matches his voice, the one you think with. So you hear a voice in your mind talking to you, but because the voice is identical, you think that's your own voice, while actually your companion devil. And he talks to you, and you hear ideas in your mind telling you all kind of things, and you think that yourself is telling you this, while actually companion devil. So you see, this is the beauty of the Quran, and how by pondering upon the Quran we can learn so much knowledge, which is far superior to the knowledge of people nowadays. Okay, another kind of fact here is that Allah God Almighty teaches us out of His mercy how to distinguish between the thoughts of ourselves and those of our companion devil. Because this is a question, how can a person distinguish that this thought I just experienced, I just heard in my mind, is it from me or my companion devil? Allah gives us the answer in the Quran in chapter 2, verse 169, which states, "He, i.e. Satan, commands you what is harmful, sinful, and to say about Allah what you have no knowledge of." So here we can learn that Allah teaches us that we can distinguish between the thoughts of ourselves and those of our companion devil by analyzing the content of the thought. If the thought contains ideas of harm to hurt yourself and others, ideas of lust and perverted sexual ideas, and ideas to say about Allah what you have no knowledge of, like a person experiencing a thought telling him that Allah has a son, Jesus, and a wife, all of these thoughts are from Satan, your companion devil, not yourself. So, by analyzing the content of the thought, if you experience a disturbing thought, ideas of harm, lust, and blasphemy. For example, if a person experiences a thought in his mind, telling him, like something's telling him this, and we know what is this something now, it's Satan, the companion devil. He's telling him with a thought matching what he thinks with, like, look, this life is hard, so if you steal, it's not a big deal, I'm just making ends meet. He gives you arguments after argument to convince you of stealing. Now this idea is not from yourself, is from your companion devil. And there are certain characteristics of the thoughts whispered by Satan to people. Allah God Almighty teaches in the Quran. For example, if you ponder upon verse number 21 of chapter 7 of the Quran, which states, "And he, i.e. Satan, swore by Allah God to them both, verily I am an advisor to both of you." So here Allah God Almighty teaches us that Satan, he comes to you in the disguise of an advisor, as if he's advising you. Remember the example I just mentioned about stealing. So Satan comes to you telling you, like, if you steal, you'll be happy, you'll be rich, you'll have all the kind of delights of life. He comes to you in a disguise of an advisor, as if he wants your well-being, he wants your prosperity. Why? Because Satan knows when he's advising you, he knows that an advice makes your heart soft. And when your heart becomes soft, you are more inclined to agree with what you are hearing. So you see how Satan tricks you, and we can see the truthfulness of the words of Allah in the Quran, and befool them gradually, whom you can befool. It's like a tricking action here. It's like a trick. And another characteristic for the whispers of Satan, Allah teaches in the Quran in chapter 2 verse 168, which states, "O people, eat of that which is lawful and good on the earth, and follow not the footsteps of Satan. Verily, he is to you an open enemy." So here Allah God Almighty teaches us that Satan comes to you in like footsteps, meaning in steps. He wants something from you. Now he doesn't come you at once telling you do this and that. He comes to you in steps. Like if there is a road and he wants to get at the end of the road, he comes in steps. So we can understand now how does Satan affect each and every one of us. Now some people, when they're hearing this, they say, I don't believe what I'm saying, about Satan and how he affects us and so forth. Now, if you don't believe what I'm saying, there is an easy way to know whether it's right or wrong. If you don't believe what I'm saying, I'll give you a certain test. So please, if you apply this test, you can know whether what I'm saying is right or wrong. What is this test? If you don't believe what I'm saying, and you think you can think about it as a theory. If you think that I'm telling a theory from the Quran, a theory about how does Satan affect us. Now the way to prove this, to know whether it's right or wrong, is to match the predictions of this theory with experiments. Now the way to prove it and to show whether it's right or wrong is to compare what I'm saying, and there are predictions of what I'm saying, with the actual experiments. Now if you ask a person with mental disturbances, telling him what kind of thoughts that you are suffering from, he will tell you, I experience ideas of harm, something is telling me to hurt myself and others, ideas of lust and perverse sexual ideas, and blasphemy. Now this is exactly what I'm saying. So the results of actual psychological experiments proves the truthfulness of what I'm saying. So it is in perfect match with what people experience with these ideas of harmless and blasphemy. So this means that this is not a theory, it is correct, it is a law. Because a theory, when it becomes correct, it becomes a law. Now, having understood all of this, we come to, I'll explain now, with the guidance of Allah God Almighty from the Quran, how does Satan make a person an addict to alcohol, drugs, and gambling. Let's start with alcohol. Please, brothers and sisters, listen to what I'm saying. This is actually what happens, and how does Satan make a person to be an addict to alcohol. He comes to a person, for example, at the end of the day, telling him, look, with a thought matching the one he thinks with, as if he's thinking to himself with these ideas. But we know now Satan is telling him this. Like, look, you had a stressful day. It's a very kind of rough day. So if you consume a little bit of alcohol, you'll unwind, you'll relax a little bit. Now, that's the first step. Remember Allah saying, do not follow the footsteps of Satan. Steps, it's like steps of Satan. After a week, he comes to the person telling him, look, instead of having this much stress at the end of the day, why don't you drink a little bit of alcohol at midday, such that at the end of the day you'll not be that stressed out. After 1 week, he comes to a person again, telling him, look, instead of being stressed at all, why don't you buy alcohol, why don't you drink alcohol all day? That's such that you will always be relaxed and cheerful and so forth. So you see, he comes to you in steps. He comes to you in the disguise of an advisor. He doesn't want your happiness. He doesn't want you to be stressed. He doesn't want you to be in a relaxed state. He wants you to become an addict, because Satan knows the horrible consequences of a person being an addict. So we understood now how does Satan cause a person to be an addict, and we can see the truthfulness of the statement of Allah Almighty that the problem of addiction of alcohol, gambling, was all due to Satan. And now we understood how. Now let's take, for example, drugs. The example of drugs. Now he comes to a young man telling him, or a young woman, like, look, you, with a voice match the one he thinks with, telling him in his mind, he experiences these thoughts, telling him, look, you are, very young and you only live once. So if you take drugs, you will experience life in another way. You'll be so much cheerful and so forth. He comes to you in the disguise of an advisor, but he wants your destruction, basically. And he would tell the person again, telling him, look, all of your friends are doing this, and if you don't take drugs, you'll be left out. They will not respect you. They will not hang with you. So you'll be a reject. He terrifies that person. And this is how he causes people to be addicted to drugs. Another example about gambling, he comes to a person telling him, look, you had a successful day, so why don't you just enjoy yourself a little bit? You'll unwind if you gamble, and you will make a quick buck, you will make quick money if you gamble, because just quick money, you'll be rich. And even if you lose, if you win once, then you will compensate for all of your losses. So you see, brothers and sisters, he comes to you with a voice match, the one you think with, and he gives you arguments after arguments in a disguise of an advisor in steps to make you an addict. And as I said, it causes harm to your body, it drives a person to commit suicide, to kill people, to steal from people, horrible consequences. So we see, my sisters, the superiority of the Quran and the knowledge of Allah in the Quran, and how Allah, God Almighty, is the most merciful to you. But people find themselves in the miserable state they are in because they deserted Allah, God Almighty, and they don't read the Quran, they don't reflect upon the Quran, they reject the Quran, they attack Allah, God Almighty, and His Messenger Muhammad, while there is so much mercy in the teaching of the Quran. And this is the diagnosis why there is a problem of addiction. Now, coming to the cure, Allah Almighty also gives us the cure for this in the Quran in 2 verses. The thing that people fail to do to find a cure for addiction, Allah gives us the answer from 2 verses of the Quran. The first verse, if we ponder upon verse 200 of chapter 7 of the Quran, which states, and if an evil whisper comes to you from Satan, then seek refuge with Allah, God. Verily, He is all hearer, all knower. So here Allah Almighty teaches us that if a person experiences a thought from Satan, for example, telling him to go and gamble, to drink alcohol, the thing to do is to seek refuge with Allah. What does this mean? This means to remember the guidance you are hearing, the guidance of Allah Almighty in the Quran, and to realize that the thought you just experienced is not from yourself, it's from your companion Satan. He comes to you in the disguise of an advisor. He wants your destruction, so don't agree with what he's saying. And Allah will not judge you for hearing these thoughts. He will judge you whether you carry them out or not. Now the second step in the cure can be found in chapter 2, verse 168 of the Quran, which states, O people, eat of that which is lawful and good on the earth, and follow not the footsteps of Satan. Verily, he is to you an open enemy. So here Allah teaches us that Satan is an open enemy for us, and not to follow his footsteps. So this, the second step in the cure, do not believe nor carry out what Satan tells you in your mind. Do not carry out what Satan is telling you. He tells you to go and drink, to take drugs, to gamble. Don't do that. You need to resist these thoughts. So this is the cure. 2 steps. Realize, expose this enemy, and don't agree with him. That's it. That's the cure. Now we can understand more and more the wisdom of Allah Almighty in forbidding alcohol, and forbidding selling alcohol, and keeping alcohol, and dealing with alcohol. Why? because Allah Almighty wants to help you in resisting Satan. For example, if somebody wants to make a low sugar diet, now it's reasonable that he would not buy ice cream and chocolates and keep them in his house. It's reasonable to do that. He would not buy ice cream and keep it. Why he doesn't buy ice cream? He wants to have more resistance for his inclinations. So likewise, Allah Almighty forbids dealing with alcohol to give you more strength over the whispers of Satan. So we see the wisdom in the teachings of Islam. Now, brothers and sisters, please think about what I'm saying and realize that Allah Almighty wants what's good for you. He wants your happiness in this life and hereafter. And to know more details about this topic, please visit my website at www.quran-miracle.com, and you can email me at zaidquran@yahoo.com, and may the peace and blessings of Allah be upon you all.